Blot Out His Name, or Spew Thee Out, the Church at the Edge of Exile. A prophetic narrative for our generation. The story of Yahweh's people has always moved in circles of covenant and return. Every age bears the same rhythm: relationship, drift, warning, judgment, mercy, renewal. From Eden's gate to Babylon's rivers, from Jerusalem's ruins to the 7 assemblies of Revelation, the melody repeats, not as history only, but as heartbeat. And now, that rhythm pulses again in our own day. 1. The voice among the lampstands. Once, the prophet Jeremiah wept outside Jerusalem's gates as the city prepared to fall. Once, Ezekiel saw the glory rise and depart from the temple, Yahweh leaving his own house because his people had traded holiness for ease. Centuries later, John, the beloved, saw the same pattern unfold again. 7 lampstands, 7 assemblies, 7 letters spoken by Yeshua. The same covenant judge, still walking among his people, still inspecting the fire. Each letter was a mirror. Each warning a reflection of Israel's past and our present. And the 2 sharpest edges of his voice still cut across time. I will blot out his name from the book of life. I will spew thee out of my mouth. 2 sentences, one about erasure, one about expulsion, both drawn from the same covenant reality. Yahweh cannot share his dwelling with mixture. 2. The book of life and the spewing out. In the ancient tongue, a name was not mere sound. It was essence, identity, and belonging. To blot out a name from the Sefer HaChaim, the book of life, was to strike it from the family register, to wipe clean the clay where it was once etched. The campfire would still burn, but that name would no longer be called when the tribes gathered. And to be spewed out of his mouth, that was not anger's whim, but covenant consequence. Laodicea's lukewarm spring was a perfect parable. Water once meant to heal had become tepid, mixed, sickening to the taste. Yeshua's body cannot digest mixture. The Holy One cannot swallow what carries both Babylon and Zion in one vessel. 3. Babylon then, and now. Long before John's vision, Babylon had already taught this lesson. The Temple of Solomon stood glittering, incense rising, priests performing their tasks. Yet the fire on the altar had become ceremonial, not holy. The people worshipped Yahweh by name, but trusted in Egypt for safety, in trade for prosperity, in idols for pleasure. Prophets cried, "Return!" But the warnings fell like rain on stone. So the presence lifted, quietly, sorrowfully, and Babylon came. Yet exile was not the end. It was the forge. In a foreign land, a remnant awakened. Daniel prayed toward the ruined city. Ezekiel saw the glory returning. Esther risked her life to preserve the covenant seed. The names that remained in the book of life were those who refused Babylon's table. Revelation's assemblies lived that pattern again. Ephesus, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Laodicea, each became a reflection of Israel's old wounds. Idolatry, apathy, false prophecy, moral confusion, dead religion. And now, centuries later, those letters have become letters to us. 4. The Church at the Edge of Exile. Walk through today's world, and you can hear the same 7 voices whispering in the wind. Ephesus speaks in the scholar's library, truth defended, but love grown cold. Sardis hums beneath bright lights, programs polished, hearts untouched. Pergamum and Thyatira mingle incense with perfume, holiness blurred by comfort, Jezebel's voice repackaged as modern grace. Laodicea builds cathedrals of affluence, sermons of success, songs of self. And still, Philadelphia holds on, a little strength, a faithful remnant, lamps trimmed and burning. The church is not dying. She is being sifted. The exile is not outward, but inward. The land is not lost. The presence is. We still sing, but few tremble. We still gather, but few bow. We still speak of the Spirit, but the Ruach has grown faint beneath the noise of our production. It is the exile of the heart. 5. The prophetic mirror. The prophets saw it long ago. Jeremiah warned of the temple that would fall because of hidden idols. Isaiah cried, "This people honors me with lips, but their hearts are far from me." Amos thundered, "Woe to those at ease in Zion!" And in the epistles, their echoes ring again. Paul foresaw a form of godliness without power. Peter warned of teachers selling truth for gain. Jude described sensual dreamers masquerading as shepherds. The letters of Revelation gather all those voices into one great chorus of judgment and mercy. The same Spirit who left the temple walks now among the lampstands, whispering, "Repent, or I will come quickly and remove your light." 6. The imagery of covenant. In Hebrew thought, every warning carries a picture. The lampstand is the campfire of Yahweh's presence. Its flame dies when oil runs out. The book of life is the household ledger, names written by the Father's hand, erased only when the heart leaves the tent. The mouth is the organ of covenant breath. To be spewed out is to lose fellowship with his voice. The lukewarm spring is the faith that no longer refreshes, truth and compromise swirling together until neither gives life. The remnant are those who still tend the coals, who guard the sacred fire in a world gone dim. 7. The fire and the forge. Yeshua's words are not the threat of an angry ruler. They are the plea of a wounded bridegroom. He stands outside his own door, knocking, waiting to dine once more with his beloved. To the complacent, he says, "Buy from me gold refined by fire." To the weary, he says, "Hold fast what you have, that no one take your crown." To the repentant, he promises, "I will write upon you my new name." The same hand that can blot out a name can also inscribe it anew. The same mouth that can spew out mixture can breathe in the humble. Exile was never meant to end in destruction, only in purification. For in Babylon's furnace, idols melt and the remnant shines. 8. The remnant flame. Across the earth today, small fires glow. Not in cathedrals or stadiums, but in homes, prayer rooms, and quiet hearts. Fathers lift their hands over tables again. Mothers teach their children the Shema. Communities gather not for spectacle, but for holiness. They are the modern Daniels. Windows open toward the forgotten city, refusing Babylon's delicacies. They are few, but they are enough. Yahweh has always written his story with remnants. 9. The decision before us. The voice still walks among the lampstands. The judgment has not changed. Names can still be blotted out, and hearts can still be spewed forth. But the invitation remains. Those whom I love, I reprove and discipline. Be zealous, therefore, and turn. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him, and he with me. Revelation 3:19-20. The question is no longer about empire or nation. It is about fire or lukewarmness, covenant or mixture, presence or exile. Every believer, every assembly, every generation stands before this threshold. 10. The final vision. And yet the story does not end in threat. It ends in renewal. The last pages of Revelation unveil what every exile longed to see. The city restored, the names written, the presence dwelling again among his people. No more blotting out, no more being spewed forth. Only belonging, only light, only the warmth of Yahweh's tent where the book of life lies open, and the names within it burn like living coals. 11. Epilogue. The ancient call. So the Spirit still calls, as he did through Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Paul, and John. Return to me with all your heart, and I will gather you from your scattering. Buy oil, trim your lamps, and keep watch by the fire.
For soon the bridegroom will come,
And every name still burning shall shine forever in the book of life.